So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order. Good morning everybody, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the Scouting for Manchester United series. The series where we go through different players linked with Manchester United and discuss whether or not they should join the club. Today, AXEL Disassi. The news broke from Fabrizio Romano late last week that Manchester United were kind of eyeing him up as potentially a backup option for the centre-back position, with Kim Min-jae, who we've spoken about in the past, being the #1 target, Disassi's being kind of spoken about as the second option. So today I want to look at kind of his strengths and weaknesses, what he would maybe bring to the team, and give my thoughts on whether or not United should sign him. Now, I have to be honest, a bit like when we done our Kim Min-jae video a few months ago, this video will be a little bit brief. We're just going to kind of scratch the surface a little bit, and then if we see more concrete news in the future, we will then take a deeper dive. But enough of the waffle, let's get into the video and talk about AXEL Disassi. 25 years old, the French defender, currently plays for Monaco, and he stands at about 6'2" tall. Very physical, very stocky in his build. He's a very powerful, strong athlete. Very, very athletic. Unsurprisingly, this makes him a very dominant defender. He's very good at using his body, whether that be in the ground duel, on the floor, going in for a tackle, or in the air. Disassi wins a very high volume of his duels. On top of this strength and physicality, he also has a decent bit of athleticism to him as well. He's reasonably mobile, although we will come back onto that. But in terms of covering a bit of ground, he's pretty quick. He's not the quickest defender you'll see, but he's not slow either. He's not, in terms of like, if we're talking about someone like Harry Maguire, he's not as slow as that. So, physically he is quite good in that department. And that combination of the ability to win duels, but also cover space at a pretty decent rate, makes him pretty much an all-round good defender. He can be very aggressive and assertive, stepping up, looking to win the ball early. For example, the opposition are playing into the striker. Disassi is happy to go and use his physicality, go be rough with the striker, win the header, win the tackle on the floor to win the ball back for his side. However, due to his recovery pace, he can also play as a bit more of a recovery defender as well. So let's say the other centre-back is the one being aggressive. Disassi does have the recovery pace to play as a bit more of a backup, a sweeper defender behind the team. And, that makes him a pretty good modern defender, suited to playing in a high line. That ability to be aggressive, but also cover the space, is of course something which we know which Ten Hag wants in his side. And we can see kind of his general defensive performance if we look at his FBref report here. We can see that he ranks well for interceptions in the 86th percentile, which kind of backs up that notion of defending on the front foot. But what we can also see towards the bottom there is that his ball recoveries are very good at tracking back, but aerials is where it's really impressive. The 86th percentile for the percentage of aerial duels which he wins. Not many defenders in the world can brag kind of better numbers than that. He is very, very good in the air, and that's something which United could do with. Particularly, maybe deeper in the penalty area. We know that De Gea isn't great in the air, Luke Shaw isn't, and Lisandro Martinez is also a little bit short. Disassi's ability in the air could be very useful. And in general, he is a good box defender. His reading of the play is very decent. At 25 years old now, he has plenty of experience, and he is good at defending in these areas. His awareness, his reading of the play, his positioning, his sharpness, his reaction speeds are all pretty good in these areas, and it does make him a good box defender. Now, unfortunately for Disassi, whilst all these things may be strengths which kind of somewhat come as a result of being this big, strong physical defender, that's also his biggest weakness as well. In particular, his legs, and this might sound like a weird comment, he has very thick set legs. He has big, clunky, muscular legs, but at times that really seems to affect his agility. In terms of his turning circle, his turning radius is not great. His agility, quickly playing on the turn, isn't very good. So if a player is looking to kind of dribble at him, get him in a 1-versus-1 situation and try and turn him or anything like that, Disassi really struggles to deal with it. He also seems to struggle with the change of pace of a dribbler as well. The best dribblers in the world, maybe someone like Jack Grealish might be quite a good example, have this ability to speed up and then they slow you down and then they speed up again. That is something which Disassi seems to struggle with. And as a result, he does struggle defending in the wider areas. And this is a problem, particularly because we know how Ten Hag wants this side to play. His centre-backs do tend to have to cover ground in these wider areas at times. Disassi doesn't seem particularly suited to that. And this is, without a doubt, his biggest weakness from a defensive point of view. Getting dragged into these wider positions in 1-versus-1 situations, he genuinely isn't very good, and that would be a massive concern for me moving forward. I mean, maybe it could work if Ten Hag's plan is to move into more of a back three like this. That could work a bit better because there would be less emphasis on 1 versus 1 duels, but it's still something which defensively I would be concerned about. So, to kind of cap off the defensive side of things, very physical, very strong, he can be aggressive, he can cover behind, he's good in the duels, he'll win it in the air, on the floor, and his reading is very good. But 1 versus 1, he isn't really of that top level. We kind of get the same story on the ball as well. There's some attributes which make Disasi a really good player on the ball. He's very technically pretty good, he's very strong, again, using that upper body to protect the ball, giving him an element of press resistance. If you try and go tackle Disasi, he uses his strength to basically hold you off and say, no, I don't think so, this is my ball, I'm going to keep it. And from there, he's very good in particular at carrying the ball forward. We can see this in his FBref report, where he ranks in the 87th percentile for take-ons attempted, the 93rd percentile for successful take-ons, and also lower down the progressive carrying distance, the progressive carries into the final third, and carries into the penalty area. Disasi is very, very good at striding forward with the ball, and this would give United a new element of ball progression. Rafael Varane is okay at it, but not particularly great, certainly not at the top level. Disasi is one of the best ball-carrying centre-backs in the world, really good at striding forward. Again, if United were to build in a back three, maybe with, for example, Casemiro dropping into the back three, this would give Disasi the licence to step the ball forward, and it would give United a very valuable weapon. Someone who can drive the team forward from nothing, going past wingers, taking the team forward, and breaking opposition structures. That would be really very useful, and he is good on the ball, he really is. Unfortunately though, despite being very good at carrying the ball forward, he isn't very good at passing the ball forward. And, without wanting to sound harsh, he's not too great at passing in general. His pass completion numbers in particular just, again, aren't of the level which United need. United already have a team which loses the ball a lot. They need technically secure centre-backs which are going to keep the ball. Disasi doesn't really bring that. And again, this is reflected in his passing FBref report, where we can see that his pass completion is 83.3%, ranking in the 40th percentile. His pass completion for short passes, the 27th percentile, medium passes, the 35th percentile, and long passes a little bit better in the 62nd percentile. So that would be a concern. It kind of shows a sloppiness on the ball at times. Now that might be a lack of concentration, kind of taking things a little bit too easy, being a little bit too laid back and just rolling the ball, but that would be a massive, massive problem for United. United already have Casemiro, who loses the ball quite a lot, Fernandes and Eriksen, who both do the same as well. Adding Disasi to that, as well as the goalkeeper and David De Gea, I worry that it would just be one too many players on the ball, which give the ball away far too much. And, you know, unfortunately for AXEL Disasi, this review from me isn't too positive. He's a good player in his own right, don't get me wrong, he's a very good footballer. I think he will at some point get his move from Monaco because he's good and he does have the potential to be even better than what he is right now. But I think in terms of what Manchester United need, he just isn't quite right. He doesn't fit the system. I think he would be much more suited to playing in the middle of a back three for a different club. Ten Hag is very unlikely to do that, in my opinion. So he doesn't have the right skill set, if you ask me. I think his ability defending out wide in 1 versus 1 situations just isn't good enough. His turning circle would be exposed in the Premier League. And then also on the ball, he just loses possession too much for my liking. It's too many things adding up which aren't quite right. And this is why he's definitely the backup option. If we're comparing him to Kim Min-jae, it's night and day. Kim Min-jae is without a doubt the #1 target for this position. And he has to be. AXEL Disasi cannot tick the same boxes. He cannot make the same claim. And for me, it just doesn't work. Now, like I've said, if United do get kind of more heavily linked and a move looks a little bit closer, then I'll look into this further. I will watch even more footage and we will go more in depth on certain intricacies of his game, little patterns he does, things like that, and you know, I'll bring you guys a better analysis. This one was more about covering his strengths and his weaknesses and just kind of a quick reaction. Do I think he's right for United? Not for me personally. Now this is being recorded on Friday, so there's no telling what's happened over the weekend. I believe this is going up on Monday, so the situation might have completely changed. But the way that I see it at the moment is I don't like the fit. But let me know what you think in the comments down below though. Have you guys watched him? What do you think of him? Do you think he has the right strengths? Personally, I don't. What do you think of his weaknesses? Are those things which Erik Ten Hag could develop maybe? Because, you know, Ten Hag is good at developing players. And if Ten Hag likes him, he's obviously seen something in there. He obviously has a plan. So maybe something could work there. For me personally, I don't like it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Apart from that though, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I will see you in the next one.